Hey guys, Tisha here, and I am here to do a review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Season 15, Episode 1, Who's Gonna Check My New Boo? And I will be honest, the reason why I am here is because of Sheree's new boo. Martell, that's Sheree's new boo. And he has managed to make his way from OWN's Love and Marriage Huntsville to Bravo's The Real Housewives of Atlanta. He has managed to come to this show to help rescue Sheree and give her an actual storyline. Somehow, we find out that despite him having joint custody, even though there's no official custody agreement yet, joint custody of his children with his ex-wife, that Sheree lets us know that Martell makes it to Atlanta every weekend. I don't quite believe that, but that's what they're going for. So, you know what? No, it is true because on OWN's Love and Marriage Huntsville, his ex-wife lets us know that there are many a times where Martell is supposed to get the kids and he does not do so. So maybe this is why he doesn't get the kids. I'm going to let you know now. I'm going to make some reference to that show because I feel like already, because both shows are currently airing, we're seeing a contradiction. And I'm going to call it out. So if you don't like that, now's the time to click off because I don't care for the antics. And I'm just letting you know now, I'm going to keep it all the way real. She's even gone as far as to saying, despite what we've seen on TV, that Martell actually shows her a lot of respect. Now, girl, we're not going to do this because it's not just what we've seen on TV, it's what we've seen online as well. The same way that you may have watched clips of the show, which I don't think she really has. We've actually seen things play out on social media, and Martell is not the nice guy that you're trying to make him out to be. We see Martell and Sheree talk about Sonya, and if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, Sonya's 40th birthday celebration that she is throwing for her husband. And Martell and her then proceed to mention Candy because he asks who's going to be there, and one of the names mentioned is Candy. And they talk about how he didn't like the fact that Candy said that he's an opportunist. What else are you, Martell, when you've made it a point to film for this show? At this point, when they're filming, we know that you all have not even really made it official yet, but you've made your way, and Sheree has helped you make your way onto this program so that you can be seen. You cannot even get the woman that you cheated with on your actual network on OWN, but you've managed to make your way here to another network to film with Sheree. That's opportunity if I haven't seen it. He then has the nerve to call Todd an opportunist, and I'm tired of them saying that Todd is an opportunist. I'm tired of Todd saying they're 10 years in. They have 2 children. They have multiple businesses together. Let's not do that. He talks about their height and wonders if he's going to see them because they're only 3 feet tall. We then see Candy and her friends, one of which is Don Juan, and her and Don Juan, as well as another person, I didn't quite catch her name, talk about how unfortunate it is that Sheree's designs didn't do well as far as the website goes. And Candy says that she's sad that she continues to have failing businesses and she drops the ball. They talk about the different businesses that Candy has and how Candy Coated Nights is about to start back up. And then Candy proceeds to give the viewers as well as her castmates ammo by saying that her 6-year-old son says that she works too much. She said, you know, it's bad when Ace is saying that I work too much. We even see her later on in a confessional with that horrible afro wig. And we hear Ace crying, saying that he wants her help with homework. And she's like, well, isn't cousin so-and or auntie so-and-so there to help you? And he says, I want you to help me because you make things much easier to understand. And I felt bad in that moment because I don't want us to rag on Kandi. Could Kandi spend more time with her children? Yes. But I feel like she's also trying to make it so that her children have a secure future. And I'm not going to knock anyone doing that, because if the roles were reversed and a man was doing it, a lot of people wouldn't complain about that person's parenting. We see Kenya and Moneta come over, and we find out that Kenya met some gentleman through Moneta, and she's really enjoying herself. They talk about Kandi and how things are going with her and Sheree based on the spoofs that she did. They then talk about how Martell has been dealing with other women in Atlanta. Kenya says that Martell tried to talk to her. She then proceeds to show some of the DM messages. We don't know how many messages there were or anything like that, because when she goes to see it and she tries to add him as a friend, the messages have disappeared, and the ladies let her know that he probably deleted it. We then hear Kenya mention Todd and saying, like, when we were on the phone the other day, I heard, Todd fussing about something, and Kandi starts crying, saying that Todd was a little upset with her because he needed some help with her reading or looking over some scripts, and she basically said that she didn't have the time, and she was saying how he feels like he helps her with her projects, but Todd doesn't feel like she necessarily gives him as much help, and she's crying. And I wish that Kandi would learn to communicate her thoughts without the tears. We see Sonia talk about a party that she's throwing for her husband in her home, where she's let us know that she's hired her brother-in-law to be her assistant. I didn't really watch this last year, as I said before, but this whole thing is giving the vibes that the family is extremely dependent upon her. And I have mixed feelings about this because my family is Jamaican, and I understand some of the upbringing as far as what is told to you about family. And I know in my family, on both sides of my family, there are grown adults all living in a big home together. And although it is not for me, it works for them. So I'm interested in seeing what happens from this. It's not going to work much longer, I don't think. Just based on seeing the argument that her and her sister had about her not respecting, like, when work is over and her family sitting down eating, even though they're all in the same house. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm not going to go too much into that because I just feel like there's going to be more to it later down the line. We then go back to Todd sitting at the table while Candy's getting ready to take out the food that's been pre-cooked for the kids because it's supposed to be family time. And Todd is doing his script, and Candy is singing to try to get him off the phone. And then they're saying just one more thing, and Candy seems very frustrated. We then see Marlo and her nephews sitting down to eat before the life coach comes. And Marlo says that although her sister is out, she has not made any, out of jail or prison, I didn't catch which, but she has not made any contact to see the boys, even though it's been like 2 months. And she says that she is in it forever with them. And I beg to disagree, because I do recall seeing some things online where she kicked them out. They even show a flashback of her saying that she kicked them out before. And in my opinion, Marlo has always been fake to me. The life coach comes in and she immediately starts to play victim and says that she made a mistake by kicking the boys out. And the life coach tries to cut her off and say, no. That's not a mistake, in my opinion. You actively chose to kick the boys out, I'm assuming because it got too tough for you. If you decided to take on those boys, given whatever the situation was, they ended up in your custody, knowing that their mother could not care for them, just because the situation got tough, You shouldn't have kicked them out. Marlo is doing damage control, and because she's doing damage control, I really don't see it for her. I really don't. We then go back to the ladies and we see I know I missed some parts in that, but I don't care about them trying to make a saying for their family and taking pictures and all of that, because as I said, I don't feel like Marlo is in it for the right reasons. Not saying she doesn't love them, but I feel like if it wasn't for those boys, I wonder if they would have given Marlo a peach, because we've seen Marlo for many years try to get on the show and she hasn't been able to, but now that she has these boys, she is. Let me know down below what your comments and thoughts are about that, because that's just how I feel. We then see Sheree at her house and Sonya comes over so they can work out. We see her in a She by Sheree outfit that Bravo lets us know is $274, even though it looks like it should be at most $60, and I'm being nice because I know I can go on Shein, which is probably the same place where she got those clothes, and get it for a different price. We see her and they begin working out, and as they're working out, the doorbell rings and we meet Courtney. And Courtney has come over to talk about Martell and Candy. So she asks about Martell and she says that Martell and her are just taking their time and they're seeing how things go, and she makes it be known that they're enjoying each other's company. And then Courtney lets us know that she has an issue with Candy because Candy called one of her friends and asked one of her friends how she knows her, looked her up on IG, was searching and digging about her and wanted to know more about her. And I could tell by what she was saying that something didn't seem right, and that to me it seems like she's trying to get camera time and a storyline. We see that Sonya is paying $100K for her husband's party, although she said she didn't want to go over $40K. We see Marlo discussing going to the party. She's talking with Rico, saying what she wants her outfit to look like, in some kind of way that Candy's name comes up, and she says last time she saw Candy was in New York, and that Candy needs to stick to continuing to make spoofs because Broadway and singing isn't working for her. And I thought it was real funny that she said this, because we know that Candy is currently on tour with her group, as well as got a nomination from her Broadway play. So even though I'm not a fan of the spoofs when it comes to joking some of those ladies, because to me you don't have that type of relationship with them to joke them, I do think that it's kind of funny that Marlo's talking about her singing and her not doing good on Broadway when it's the complete opposite. We finally get to the party where we see Ralph come in without Drew. He's asked about it. He said that they had an emergency. Kenya said, a family emergency. Kenya says a good thing, like, your family is her family, and she would think that he would be with her. He said he just wanted to come see Ross and support him. Cherie brings Martell, and she says they're officially dating. It's so funny how on this show they're officially dating, but on his show he downplays it and says something completely different on Owns. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. On Owns Love and Marriage Huntsville. He, even on that show, is still trying to allude to the fact that he misses his ex-wife. So if you watch the show, you would understand that this whole thing is very comical. For some reason, we find out that Sonya went back to Marlo and told the information that was told to her and Sheree about Candy, even though they did not get verification to find out if it's accurate, if it's true, or anything like that. I don't like that. I'll be honest, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but because it came up at the party, I have to talk about it. I feel like the fact that this was a topic of discussion is crazy to me, that who doesn't ask if someone knows someone else, if they know that at some point they're going to film with them, or however that situation came up. It's not like she wanted to know your life's history. She asked someone that she knows through the music industry how they know you. I don't see how that's a big deal. Kandi and Courtney meet each other. You can tell that Kandi wasn't really too familiar with her. Courtney's energy immediately is off-putting. She's in Kandi's face, she's doing all the gestures, and she basically tells her spill about how she has a problem with Kandi going to someone and asking about her and lying and saying that they're friends. And Kandi said, I never said that we're friends. And I believe Kandi, because Kandi made it very clear. She saw a picture on Instagram with a young lady from the music industry named Dina, and she asked Dina if she knew Courtney, because in the picture she was beside this young lady and she happens to be Courtney. I feel like Courtney tried to have a scene with Kandi, and the disagreement seems extremely dumb. Her energy was off-putting. The way she was talking was ridiculous. It just was too much. You're getting in her face. And to me, Sonya's not a good friend, because Sonya, you could go and you can tell Marlo the situation and what happened. Why didn't you call Kandi and let Kandi know what this girl was saying at Sheree's house? You made it your business to not just tell Marlo, but you were in Marlo's vicinity, at Marlo's house, I'm assuming, where you had this conversation with her to let her know what was said. So to me, you should have shut that down by letting Kandi know what was going on, instead of Kandi being blindsided at what is supposed to be your husband's event about something as dumb as you trying to find out who she is. Kandi tells her that she doesn't understand why she's giving her all that energy. She's mistaken. She didn't say that they were friends. She doesn't even know her. Courtney tells her that she needs to calm the F down, even though Courtney started the whole thing. We then hear Kandi say that she's about to headbutt her. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And I feel like I need Kandi to stop being nice to these females, because they continue to take advantage of the situation. We see Kenya tell Sheree that she needs to talk to her. Martell, in the background, I don't know if you guys caught it, says, oh, you guys are pulling her to side to have a side conversation. He already was kind of looking to see what was going on. In my opinion, that wouldn't be a big deal that she wants to have a side conversation, unless you know you did something that was off the wall, or you're afraid that they're going to talk something about you or inform her about you. Monyetta and Kenya let them know they've heard, along with Kandi, that he's talking to some other females in Atlanta. And Kenya also lets him know that he DM'd her. And of course, we know that the DMs are no longer there. And Sheree wants proof about the DMs. I'm going to say this much. From this first episode, I think that the ladies are off to a really good start. I feel like this might be a good season, so I may continue to review it, but I also feel like I'm going to get mad about a lot of the things that are done, because I feel like people really, really take advantage of Kandi's kindness. I feel like people really, really try to play in her face. I want her to stop letting them do it. I also feel like it's pointless to tell Sheree about Martell, because I've learned a long time ago that when it comes to women and the men that they like and or are dating, that they tend to side with the man. You can tell her everything that you want to tell her. It's already played out for the world to see. This man was married to his wife and had 4 children with his wife and had a whole nother relationship on the side. He had others, but he had a whole nother relationship on the side that lasted for 5+ years. And he had a child with that young lady. And having the child with the young lady is what made his wife leave him. That was the final straw for her, because she left him before and she took him back. So you know that this man in the past has been trash. In my opinion, enough time has not gone by for him to heal and work on whatever he needs to work on within himself, that he felt the need to cheat on his wife and his family the way that he did. But you're going to try to present this man and feel like you can put him on this new network and shine him up like he's a brand new shiny penny, and we're supposed to be okay with that. I think not. With that being said, thank you so much for joining me. I'm interested to see what these numbers look like because I've never done The Real Housewives, but we shall see. Until next time.